God, how far are we now? Are we in Kiryu's chapter? We're already in Kiryu's last chapter. That took like a couple hours practically. Whoops, I walked down the street once and accidentally started his entire story. Sounds like somebody needs to call Yagami Light. Is that his name? Or is that the guy from Death Note? Shit. What the fuck? I hate you, Akiyama, so much. What the fuck? Not even a code? And you leave the door unlocked at this place? You never thought someone might wonder where all your money is that you loan out all the time? You have so many enemies and you don't even put a fucking code on the door. What the fuck? Why is there even a vault? If you're not gonna make it, this could have been a fucking closet, apparently, you dumb motherfucker. Holy shit, this game. What? Kaneda.
やべ。
That's what. So he pretended he got beat up because all the books were everywhere. That's so suspicious.
もう社長またドア開けっぱなしなんだから。ああ、木戸さん、ごめんなさい。ちょっと買い物に行ってて。
ああ、すいません。勝手にお邪魔してます。
Does she not know about the vault? Does she not know about the vault? Somehow? Seems kind of unavoidable. Also, she kind of like is the adult in the room that runs everything. Like, she should have been freaking out that he was holding the legal code, which is the door, the one that blocks the button, which is... It's just a button! What the fuck? I'm losing my fucking mind here. Any halfway intelligent dude that investigates Akiyama trying to figure out where all of his money is because he has so much fucking money would be like, well, I went in and talked to him, like pretending to like want a loan and stuff, and weird how his, his office only takes up about half the space of that floor, and there's no other doors to any other, there's not another business there. So he has that whole floor, but the room's really small. Almost like there's a secret other room over there where all of his money is. Like, it wouldn't be that hard to figure out, because the outside and the inside are a reverse TARDIS. It's smaller on the inside. That's kind of a problem. Not to mention, like, to crib from the fucking Elementary show, like, a vault that's big enough, or like a panic room or whatever, due to its armoring, is like really heavy. You can't really hide something like that well. But I'm accepting that because we're in the universe where a fucking castle came out of the floor in the second game, I think, or the first game, wherever the tiger drop happened. Like, every time we use the tiger drop, we're calling back to a moment where a castle came out of the ground. Which, like, whew. They primed me for that a little bit in Yakuza 0 when we were on a boat and that boat went into like an elevator in the middle of the canal and descended into like a fighting arena or something, and so I think in Sotenbori, which was like cool but also not something I was ready for at that point because that was surreal and extremely weird. But the underground, like we can just accept the idea that like, okay, there's just a vault there somehow. I don't know how they got it there, but ignoring that, just the logistics of like it existing, like this, let it exist via magic. It still takes up like half that floor. Like, people would figure out it was there when they keep getting mad at this guy that has all this money that loans it out all the time. They'd be like, where's all of his money? And like, they might think it's in a bank or something, but somebody at some point would probably get suspicious about this floor plan discrepancy that is not hard to figure out. Like, it's not a small amount of space. It's like half of the entire floor is not contained by his office, and there's nothing else that goes there. There's no staircase going there. There's no other door. Hell, if there was a door on his wall, even a fake one, going to a fake office, it would at least give off the appearance that he has another room over there that's like his private office, and then you just don't let anyone in there because the door doesn't go anywhere. It's like a fucking Winchester Museum mystery house door thing. But no, he doesn't have a door. There's no indication of what the rest of that floor is being used as. And there's just a giant fucking vault in there. Okay, not a very well kept secret. That's gonna go wrong at some point. But hey, at least there's a code or a combination, right? No? They just hid it behind a door? Like Scooby-Doo? You pull the wrong book on accident and boom, you find his entire fortune? And then I'm like, okay, put that, look, sure. At least there's a giant vault door. Like, you don't make a giant armored vault door unless you care about security, right? Just kidding, it just opens like a submarine door. This is just Subnautica. It's just, he just likes cranks. It doesn't actually have a lock. What the fuck? And they have like no security. And like their staff is just him and his assistant. And they've been attacked multiple times. Like, there was the time that his assistant kicked everyone's ass, and then there was the time that the other people kicked his assistant's ass and beat her in the face with a gun. And or was it her or Kido that got hit? Either way, they had a gun that time, and so they're like, haha, we win. Like, they've had multiple attacks, and they never thought to like maybe lock the vault that has 100 billion yen in it, which is a number that's incomprehensible. Like, I don't. What was the? I'm just gonna have a breakdown with this plot point. We're gonna sit on the screen for as long as it fucking takes. All right, Yakuza, the empty lot. I have to just look it up on my phone because I don't want, if I interact with this, it'll precede the dialogue. Okay, the empty lot. Fucking, the empty lot became the Millennium Tower, right? The empty lot was a prequel thing, which at the time I didn't know the significance of it because I hadn't played the other games. But for other people, they're like, "Oh shit, the empty lot is where the Millennium Tower is gonna be." Like, how much was the value of that entire? God, phone websites suck. Half of my screen is them loading a fucking video for Skyward Sword. Fuck off, Yakuza Wiki. What the fuck? Why are websites so stupid on phones? This is why I don't do this. It's like, was that 100 billion? What was that? I'll never find it. I don't know how to control F on a phone, if that's even a feature. The empty lot yen. I'm just gonna add that to my search. Anyone remember how much worth empty lot? 10 billion yen, Yakuza games. Yeah. Yeah, the number thrown around. The number thrown around for the empty lot was 10 billion yen. So we're throwing around an amount of money that is 10 times the size of what became the Millennium Tower. Like, the entire plot of Yakuza 0 revolved around an empty lot that would become the Millennium Tower and had a value being thrown around of being like trying to bargain with like 10 billion yen. And a lot of these games have just dealt with like smaller amounts of money by comparison. This guy had 100 billion in a vault. He was homeless in Yakuza 1 and picked up some money off the street as a homeless person and built an empire the size of 10 Millennium Towers, apparently, and just like kept it an unlocked vault behind a Scooby-Doo door. This dumb motherfucker. And he like was so rich he didn't care about money. Like, he so casually just didn't give a fuck about anything, which, like, once again, somebody who was that poor that recently should be a little bit more miserly and careful and worried, because there's the whole dichotomy between like old money people that don't even realize the value. Like, how much could it be, Michael? $10? But instead, he's like somebody who had to scrounge up the money, so he's supposed to know the value of $1, but he's not characterized like that at all. But he also doesn't even have basic security on his fucking entire stupid fucking... This game was written by a person that doesn't understand like economics or rich people or people. Like it's driving me fucking crazy. Cause yeah, like he's got this like just like massive capitalism brainwashed like fucking like it's like the Japanese equivalent of like the American dream, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and all this other weird propaganda level like understanding of reality that's just like was really frustrating the whole time we were playing as him in the story. And like this whole like, it's all about gumption and will and innovation, and like the background of every plot had like a body count, like an economic body count of how many people were getting fired or falling victim to how the economy actually works, and the story was weirdly or not aware of that and keeps like espousing his ideology like his right the whole time. But on top of this, like he's just like a shonen protagonist. Like he's just like a fucking like 6-year-old or 12-year-old that's like a school student that gets superpowers, like that protagonist of every shonen story, where he's just like that idealistic, like pepped up like Goku or whatever the fuck. That's just like not Goku, like Yuffie. Like he's just this like childish, optimistic person that just is naive and stupid and thinks like, haha, yeah, I'm just gonna put my money in the right people and society will be better or something. And like not like what rich people would actually do, which would be like, you know, change Japanese law by fucking by bribing officials and like literally morphing the world around you so that the laws benefit you, like the billionaire in Disco Elysium that morphs the physical laws of reality as a metaphor, but it feels like not a metaphor sometimes. Like he doesn't do any of the shit you would expect somebody to do with that money, but he doesn't even do the base level shit that isn't corrupt, like put his money somewhere else, maybe even more than one place, because he has a fuckload of money. No, it's just in a fucking closet that's cool looking, but it's a closet that anyone could have found at any point, and I'm just, oh boy. And it's just like with the fucking there's too many characters now. It's just like with the detective or the cop I was playing as, where, dude, your friends' lives were threatened. You've got to like do something about that. You can't just leave them here and walk away immediately like nothing's up. And like he didn't, and they were then held hostage and gonna get executed. But then thankfully the guy had a change of heart and shot himself. Like that's you just relied on that luck. Like, why don't you listen to past events and do anything about it? This dude keeps having his place broken into by rivals that are mad at him and did nothing to protect his money. Why didn't he move it? Why didn't he put a lock on it? Why is it just... Yakuza 4 is fucking crazy. What is this? The plot is so fucking insane in this game. And I don't know how he got here, but it's... Oh, I'm sorry, but I don't know how you expected me to just keep going without commenting on that. Like, what the... I was so, like, oh no, he found the secret button. That's okay, like, that's not good, but at least it won't, like, you know, work. He's got to figure out how to open it, right? I was expecting some really stupid thing, like he goes through the legal book and finds like the password written in it or something, like even a token gesture towards effort, and then it opened the vault, and I'm like, okay, well, it's got to have a combination at least, and then it just opened too, and it's like, why are there 2 layers of security that don't actually stop anyone? They're just doors. I hate you so much, Akiyama. I can't believe you're on the cover of 2 other Yakuza games. He's on the cover of 5 and Dead Souls, which is the first Yakuza game I ever bought, because I always heard Yakuza was good, and I bought Yakuza Dead Souls and then never played it. But it has the guy from it has the bad guy from Yakuza 2. It has Majima and Kiryu. It has Akiyama of all people. And I'm like, not this guy. He's driving me crazy, man. What the fuck? Well, he's just a fan favorite because he looks like that, right? Like he's got a cool suit and he's kicky, which I liked from on a surface level. And he's like the guy that just like, ugh, I'm too cool to care about anything. And like, because we're all trapped in high school, that still works on everybody and they don't think that personality trait's fucking annoying yet. Motherfucker. Oh, how do I even go back to playing at this? How do I even recover from this? I have to like voice a cutscene now, and I don't know how I'm gonna get back there. Ugh. You really, you really think that's how it went down? Oh god, if there's more cutscenes that are just different takes on what happened and they keep changing. If no one calls him out, I'm gonna lose my shit. Can't. I have to try to act aloof. Stop it. Stop smiling. I'm trying to say it. Where's text-to-speech? Save me. Ugh. Can't think of any other way. Me and Hana-chan are the only two people who knew about the vaults. So she didn't know about it. But she didn't react to him having the book. That is first of all, just an unreasonably large book. Like, I once got Sandman in 3 volumes. Which, like, when I saw, like, the deluxe edition or whatever of Sandman, I just like, oh, that's convenient. I like to get, like, an omnibus or whatever that just gets more comic in one place and it takes up less space, and you usually get it for cheaper collectively than buying all the individual issues and all that. But then the Sandman was the biggest book I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm afraid to read it because I'm like, where do I keep it? Like, what do I put it on when I'm reading it? I can't hold it. It doesn't fit anywhere. It's like a foot tall and like 6 inches wide or something. And I'm like, how do I read this book? It's so much book. It's like, and that thing is like a foot wide. Like, its spine can't support itself. That thing has to fall apart, right? Like, how do you even use that book? But like, she should have been like, oh, that's not good. He's got, you know, the book. The one that covers the secret fortune that is the entire basis of our entire business existing and my livelihood, and also this idiot that I've chosen to care about even though he's an idiot. Which, like, good for you for just walking out on him and his dumb bullshit. But like, she knows that it's behind that book. It's a really noteworthy book. It's the legal code. And like, and she didn't think anything of it. Like, everyone's has to be so stupid to make the plot happen and for this game. It's driving me fucking crazy. This is as bad as this might be worse than the rubber bullets. I think this might be worse than the rubber bullets, which is also just like, the characters have to be so stupid for that plot to happen. There's no other way around it. Like, they have to be so stupid in order for this plot to happen. Everyone, the bad guys and the good guys, all have to be so stupid for this twist. And we're doing it again. I just wasn't ready for it. And it came all at once this time. It wasn't a slow burn. It was just like, oh god, surprise, all of his money's in a Scooby-Doo door. Right there. Holy shit. It wasn't even like under the floor in a locked vault. Like, I just watched Looper a few weeks ago, and like, his money is under his floor. And like, they have to take out an entire chunk of the floor that slides away, and even then the vault has a lock. Like, why aren't you... That guy's character... The entire characterization of loopers is that they're people that don't really have that much planning for the future, because by taking the job, they're agreeing to just die in a few decades, because it's a job where they kill themselves eventually. It's when they close the loop. It's a great movie, I love it. But specifically, even Joseph Gordon-Levitt admits that anyone who takes this job, including himself, isn't really planning for the future. Like, it's a very impulsive, flawed choice that they're gonna regret later, basically. And like, even the character that's characterized as being kinda stupid in that movie had a fucking law, Kakiyama, and he's supposed to be stupid. You're supposed to be a capitalist genius that fucking Sherlocked his way to the top of society. You're supposed to be what we tell ourselves Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are. It's like visionary geniuses that didn't just exploit a bunch of people and break a bunch of rules and cheat their way to the top. They're supposed to be like really clever genius boys that everyone should aspire to be. And then we're all like Fry, and Leela's talking to us like, Fry, but you're not rich.
I was like, yeah, but one day I might be, and people like me better will look out. People better watch their step when I'm rich.
Because that whole idea that all Americans are temporarily embarrassed billionaires and we're all gonna be rich one day. It's like, that's the fucking like the background noise. Like, you're supposed to be that guy, the magic boy that knows all the right, has all the right smarts and puts all the right effort in, but you're characterized as a lazy dumbass and everything you do is stupid. You're a terribly written character. You're a nightmare. Holy shit. I never thought Yakuza would make me have this kind of breakdown. Usually it's like, oh, that was confusing. That's usually what I'm disappointed by. Like, the climax is like a hyper convoluted, shady deal with a triple twist featuring a character we barely knew, and I'm like, okay, sure. What? What are you talking about? This time I'm like intimately aware of the characters. Like, if nothing else, they've done a great job of having me run along with each of these 4 characters and follow their stories and remember most of it at least, and like not be like constantly like, what the fuck are we talking about? But like, these characters, now that I know too much about them, they're driving me fucking crazy. God, I hope 5 recovers a bit, although maybe we'll have more entertaining moments like this, I guess. I can't lose, I guess. I win either way, but holy shit. I wasn't ready for Yakuza 4. Everyone said 3 was the bad one, and I can't really agree. I don't know why anyone thought 3 was the bad one, but I guess everyone else says Zero Escape's the best fucking video game ever made, story-wise. It's so well written, so we've learned about people's standards, I guess. Oh. God. Kido-chan's the only other possibility. What makes you say that? Well, it would certainly wrap things up all nice and neat. Everything would make sense. What do you mean? Not long after Hana-chan saw him at the office, Kido-chan got hauled off by the Hatsushiba clan boys, who'd been working with Shibata. Just walked in and speared him away. Simple, clean. Is that the time he got beat with a gun? What's so strange about that? Everything. You'd understand if you'd seen what Kido-chan can do in a fight. Go on. Well, it's only been once I've witnessed it myself, but the guy can mop the floor with anyone without breaking a sweat. I say full of a room with like a hierarchy of people that could take him. Like, Kido could probably take Date, but everyone in this room could probably beat Kido. And Kiryu can beat everyone in this room. He's pretty coy about it, though. Prefers to keep all that under wraps. No, Kido's actually an interesting character. There might be parts of his plot that don't add up if I, like, kept all of it in mind, because he's been stretched over the course of, like, 4 campaigns very thinly, so I don't... It's hard to keep track of the details a little bit. But, the idea that he's, like... He's the type of guy that would be, like, Aniki. Yeah, he's part of one of those youthful, young Yakuza types that would be saying, like, Aniki and stuff like that, and, like... He's the type of character that usually is, like, a figure that like looks up to Kiryu and maybe dies and so on. Like that innocent face and all that, turning out to be a ploy, and that he's actually like heavily involved in like the twist and the betrayal and everything is like actually a fun idea there. And the idea that he's like hiding his power, like his ability to like fight, and it is like just another element of that. Because you're supposed to want to protect him like your little brother, and it's a trick. How come? It's better for the family that way. Most likely. Kanamura Enterprises, where Kido-chan and Arai-san work. It's a tiny speck under the big Shibata umbrella. Now, your usual Yakuza outfit makes their living off those dramatic displays of strength, but not Kanamura. Why not? Didn't want to stand out, especially with the rat race always tearing his town apart. Guess that's just how he was. Makes sense. It's safer to lay low and get on with your life than start bashing heads in. Yep. Kanamura couldn't even afford his dues to the Shibata. Came to me begging for a loan and everything. Expanding his turf and inviting competition was probably the last thing on his mind. I'm sure he was more than happy to keep his head down and let Kamurocho be Kamurocho. For sure. That's why Arai-san and Kido-chan were so careful not to make any waves. But yeah, Kido-chan's a monster. You think he let himself get kidnapped on purpose then? You bet I do. By the time I got back to the office that day, he was already gone. The place was more of a mess than usual thanks to the struggle. It was convincing, honestly, but one thing stood out to me. Which was what? The order my books were in. Your books? Yep. Kido-chan tossed a bunch of them around, probably to make it look like a fight went down. Cover his tracks, you know? But the ones that were still on the shelf weren't in the right spots for some reason. That's how I knew something was up. Hold on. Your office isn't exactly what I'd call organized. Not by a long shot. Are you seriously telling me you know where every single book is supposed to be on your shelf? Every single one. And then I proceeded to not do anything about the fact that I knew that, because I'm a fucking idiot. Whoa. It's fine, you just organize them in the shape of like an acronym. Long story short, my old pal Kido-chan pulled a fast one on me. Yeah, but they didn't take the money until recently, so you did nothing with that information for like a week. You had like a week to realize he knew where your vault was. Holy shit. You both knew, or should have known, that he was coming for your money and did fucking nothing. Like, she left, so that's different. But like, you... Akiyama, what are you? Like, as far as I can tell, you just did nothing for last week. Like, the timelines are staggered a little bit from schedule to schedule. And so like... But... Like, maybe Tanamura's campaign took place at the same time or before Saijima's and so on. Like, there's like a little bit of, like, overlap. But Akiyama's storyline happened before Tanamura's storyline. Because we have a character leave one campaign and enter the other one with the money they got at the end of the campaign. So it's been like a week. And you had that information this whole time. So this whole reveal that you're clever actually just makes you dumber. Just like every reveal that has ever tried to make you sound clever. Every single one makes you a dumber character. You're so fucking stupid. How did this make it in the game? What I really want to know is who keeps 100 billion in cash just lying around in this day and age? Why not stash it in a bank? Don't trust them. Besides, it's not like any of them pay decent interest anyway. But hey, who needs trusting a bank when I could just not lock it at all? That much physical money isn't exactly portable, though. How'd they get it all out? Kiryu, you saw the truck. Ask the DA guys who raided my office yesterday, a week after I knew they were coming, just so we're clear on that. They're the ones who did it. You think they were imposters? Big time. Katsuragi must have sent them over once Kido-chan tipped them off. A week later, though. That would explain it. Does it? Does it, Kiryu? Life's a cruel mistress sometimes, especially when you're a dumbass with a giant target on your back that you put there. Sure, you get used to the cheating and backstabbing and the lying in my line of work, but not enough to put a lock on my fucking money! When it all smacks you in the face, one after another, ugh. You seem like you're taking it pretty well, though. Most guys would go into total shock if they lost 100 grand, let alone 100 billion. I am in shock. This is me in shock. It's not that big of a deal. Is it, though? Is it? Is it not that big of a deal? Do you know how many entire Yakuza storylines you could fix with that money? Like, the stakes. No. Yeah, it's like when you like lose some money at the slots or whatever, and you're like, oh, I just gotta make better choices in the future, and like it's not the end of the world. This is kind of a big deal, Akiyama, and this sentence is why you don't have the money anymore, because you're like this. You're incurable. You as a character could never have gotten this money in the first place. Like, you're just not written to be the person who would get that money. It doesn't make any sense. It's just, it's not that big of a deal, I know, but still. Not that big of a deal. I'll just make it all back again. How? You're gonna turn into your fucking Jekyll and Hyde alter ego that actually is smart and does things that make sense? Apparently. But... And hey, the week has had its highlights. Oh yeah? I met you for one, Kiryu-san, and you kicked my ass, and then we lost the person we were protecting. Like, she's been captured by people that very well might murder her, or use her as a token to murder somebody else, and that was all because of a misunderstanding. That was my own fault. Just so we're highlighting that. But yeah, cool. At least I got to meet you, Kiryu-san. That makes it worth it. Is that really so special? You're my freaking hero, man. Akiyama, you're breaking me. You can't just bring up every reason I'm mad at you all at once. You can't do that to me, because we're gonna be here all day, but that's fine. I've got time. This is how I make a living. I'll just fucking wallow in this shit. Use your hero! And you knew who he was both because he was the Dragon of Dojima and because he's the entire reason you got where you are in life, and you never learned what he looked like? Like, this is like fucking 999 shit where Lotus... Was it Lotus? Was that the name? Was in 999? Or was that Zero Escape? Alice was Zero Escape. Lotus specifically was researching the people that abducted her kid back, like, years ago. They abducted her children, this evil corporation, and she never looked up what the people running it looked like? So she could just encounter the CEO of said company and have no idea it's him. Fucking great storytelling. You have so many reasons to know what Kiryu looks like. But then just contrive a stupid 2-on-1 Avengers, oh, it's Captain America versus Thor boss fight, because wouldn't it be cool if the heroes fought each other? You fucking had to, like, not know what Kiryu looked like, your personal hero, and the entire reason that your career happened. You somehow never knew who Kiryu looked like. The guy who has been fucking active, you know? Like, not only was he really active in Yakuza 1, dealing with the homeless people all the time, which you were one of. So, like, you would think that in Yakuza 0 and 1, you would have at some point encountered Kiryu, because you were a homeless guy in Yakuza 1, not 0 probably. Back then he had his previous job and wasn't fired yet. But on top of that, the whole time that you had Akiyama finances and were such a big hero boy, Yakuza 2 and 3 happened. That's a lot of fucking Kiryu for you to have encountered at some point while he's your hero. And you never sought him out a single time or even encountered what his picture's like. And he runs a blog. Kiryu has a blog. Like, they bring it up all the time in this game, and to the point where it has to be canon and not like a weird like side quest only universe thing that you're not supposed to think about so much. Like, Kiryu canonically runs a blog online. It's just really easy to know what the Dragon of Dojima looks like, but you lost the one person that you supposedly wanted to protect because you fucking... Because you had to fight Kiryu because you didn't realize he was Kiryu? Even though he's your hero. And you're in love with her, man. You're supposed to be head over heels in love with her, and protecting her is more important than anything, and you couldn't recognize that the person coming after her was Kiryu, therefore probably tried to help her. That entire misunderstanding breaks the plot so hard. I'm losing my fucking mind. Akiyama's the worst character in the Yakuza franchise, and he's a fan favorite. How did this happen? Ah! Oh my god. This is just a podcast episode. Whew. Just when I think I'm out, he keeps tearing me back in. God, my nose is running a little bit from like half laugh crying through this whole mess. Like, is the whole reason you got the money in the first place from the explosion? You have to know who he is. Look at how he dresses, like a fucking video game protagonist. Oh my god, Akiyama, I hate you so much. Oh. It's so hard to do his voice when you're smiling and laughing and just like... You're my... You're my freaking hero, man. You saved my life. Did I? Think I'd remember that. Just listen. You know when the Millennium Tower blew up 5 years ago that was only worth 1/10 of my fortune? When all of the cash rained down on the city, which was only worth a 1,000th of my fortune? That day changed my life. I grabbed as much as I could, cleaned myself up, and went from homeless bum to this in practically no time flat. If not for you, I'd still be out in the streets, digging through trash just to keep myself alive. That's the money you built your business on, huh? Yep. Though now that I think about it, that 10 billion was probably the same cash my bank duped me into laundering for them before they had me take the fall. 10 billion Jingu diverted to the Tojo clan. So, yeah, this all feels kind of personal somehow. If this stuff going down now is linked to that 10 billion, consider me there. What do you mean consider you there because of the 10 billion? They kidnapped the woman you're in love with. Did you forget? Are you so starstruck by Kiryu, the man you don't even recognize at a glance, that you forgot that the love of your life has apparently been kidnapped? Oh man, I better be there to help with this 100 million yen that both saved my life but also maybe was how I lost my job or whatever. I don't know. I need a new motivation apparently in Act 3 of the story. Akiyama doesn't need a new motivation. Why are you giving him a new motivation? Did you forget he had a motivation already? You don't need to come up with an explanation for him to be in the story. Because you already came up with a bad one before and it hasn't been resolved. Ugh. I don't know about you guys, but this is starting to feel like fate to me. Almost like we're all destined to end up here. Like somebody had to write 4 characters and then had to come up with a way to make them all meet so that they could all fight side by side in the final chapter. Fate. It's also I'm also here, but not important by comparison. The fourth, sorry, Date. The 4th character is Saishima. You might just be right. There's even an empty chair as if to symbolize Saejima not being here.
これからどうするんだお前ら。冴島と安子を取り戻すつもりなのか。
ああ、それしかないだろうな。
だがどうすればいいんだ。金はすでに葛城の元にある。やはり奴らの居場所を探して直接攻め込むしかないのか。
いや、策はある。ん
I can't read that. Super clear.
おい桐生、これ一体何なんだ。
動かぬ証拠というやつだ。おそらく宗像も葛城もこのファイルの行方を追いかけている。これを使えば奴らと取引できるはずだ。
I honestly feel like they have more than enough money to basically make that file disappear. Like, even if it surfaces, they're just like, it doesn't matter. Fuck it. Like, they have so much money, 100 billion yen! Also, I liked how it zoomed in on the document for that long. You were clearly supposed to read it, but it doesn't take that long to read the number 10 billion. It, like, fixated on it for like 10 seconds straight. So it clearly wanted you to read like more of the text on the screen, but there was no subtitles, so it wouldn't tell me. They didn't translate the document the way that like a cutscene would like to translate like a street sign or whatever. Like if they were like zoomed on a sign, the subtitles would tell me what it said, but they didn't. Whoops. This obviously doesn't matter in the scale of all the other shit I'm talking about. How'd you end up with this thing, Kiryu? Amazaki gave it to me down in Okinawa. It's a document showing the creation of Penitentiary Number 2 and the expected flow of money into the place. Huh. Well, you look at that. It's got names, amounts, everything. Yeah. It says right here that the 10 billion yen that got transferred to the Tojo from the Tojo to Kyohei Jingu back in 2005 was meant to get passed on to the Metropolitan Police. That's the incident you were wrapped up in, right, Kiryu-san? Right. That missing cash nearly tore the clan apart. And the guy behind it all was a man named Kyohei Jingu, Haruka's father. We're basically setting him up more in this game than we did in the game he was in at this point. But there's more. There are notes on here detailing a police plan to release inmates from Penitentiary Number 2 and create an artificial crime. All to make police look good. That's one hell of a scoop. No wonder they're so desperate to get it back. This goes public, all the dirty laundry will be out in the open. So what's your next move? We try and cut a deal with Katsuragi. I just need to figure out how to get in touch with him. I can help you with that. He and I have talked on the phone before. If you call from my cell, I'm sure he'll answer. Huh. Mind if I borrow your phone then? Go right ahead.
Kaz、
谷村じゃないのか。
俺は桐生ってものだ。今訳あって谷村の電話を借りてお前に電話している。
桐生、まさかあの4代目の桐生一馬さんですか。
そうだ。
これは驚きです。それで私に何か用でも。
冴島大河と安子のことだ。
さあ、何の話だか。
とぼけるな。お前が西の河原から連れ去ったということは分かってるんだ。
それがどうした。
お前と取引がしたい。お前が今一番欲しがっているはずのものが今俺の手元にある。冴島が浜崎と脱獄した際手に入れた例のファイルだ。お前が手に入れたいものというのはこれなんじゃないのか。違うというのなら構わない。この話は忘れてくれ。 それじゃ。
待て。どうしてお前がそのファイルを持ってる？
受け取った。沖縄で浜崎から直接な。
そのことを知っているのは？
俺と浜崎。あとは今、俺の周りにいる人間だけだ。
宗像は知らないんだろうな。
宗像？
副総監の宗像だ。
ああ、知らないはずだ。
わかった。いいだろう。取引の内容は？
冴島大河と安子の身柄。あと、木戸が奪ったスカイファイナンスの金。1000億だ。
伝説の極道ってのも交渉事は不得意のようだな。そんな取引じゃ俺は動かない。交渉ってのは心理戦だ。わざと相手に有利な条件を提示することで相手の興味を引き出す。そういうもんだろう。
なら、どうすればいいんだ？
そうだな。わかった、こうしよう。今日の取引、お前一人で来い。
一人？
そうだ、一人だ。しかもお前にはボロボロの状態で取引に来てもらう。
どういうことだ？
ちょっとした余興をやってもらうってことだよ。あんたの好きな殴り合いってやつをね。
何？
取引の場所はカムロ町ヒルズの屋上にしよう。俺は冴島と妹、さらに1000億を用意してその屋上で待つ。あんたには屋上にたどり着くまで上の清和会の人間を全て倒してから来てもらう。
なんだと？
あんたが屋上にたどり着けるか、それとも先に死んでしまうか。俺としてはどっちでもいい。これなら俺に有利な条件だ。
もし俺が屋上までたどり着いたら？
そん時はちゃんと取引させてもらうよ。ただ、たとえそうなってもあんたにはもう俺を殺す余力は残ってないはずだ。それなら俺も安心だ。分かってくれよ、桐生さん。俺もさ、長生きしたいんだよ。あんたや冴島みたいな化け物2人も相手してじゃ命がいくらあっても足りない。世の中には錦山や郷田隆二みたいな、今まであんたが相手にしてきた男気あふれる極道じゃない人間もいるんだよ。さあ、どうする？
わかった。行こう。何時に行けばいい？
夜22時だ。俺も死体じゃない生きたあんたに会えることを楽しみに待ってるよ。それじゃ。
He's like a little too aware of the exact trajectory of Kiryu's life a little bit, but yeah, like I do appreciate him being like calling out the like Yakuza 1 and 2's endings where it's like, we're gonna fight on a rooftop shirtless. It's like because the way they fought the death against Nishiki and then Ryuji, the blonde guy, and like that's like the go-to, like that's how storylines go. Like if Yakuza 0 existed, he'd be adding Kuze to that list, who you fought like 5 fucking times that game in a series of escalating boss fights, and he was just so fucking mad at you, which is always a funny thing because Kuze looked he always tripped me out because his face and his body didn't feel like they matched. Like his face looked like this elderly schlubby guy by comparison. That's the vibe that I got. But then his body was so jacked, and I'm like, what's happening? This guy takes off his shirt and transforms into a superhero. But like, I appreciate them having somebody be like, I'm not gonna, what do you think this is? That? No. No. Jesus. No, I'm a guy in a suit that orders people around and shit. It'll be a really unfortunate thing if the game then ends by having me fight him somewhere in like a big multi-stage boss fight where he has a bunch of health bars and there's like multiple cutscenes throughout the fight as it escalates and so on, because that will completely undercut that comment by just having it happen again. So we'll see. What's the deal, Kiryu? Sounds like you came to some kind of agreement. Yeah, I'm meeting him with the file on the roof of Kamurocho Hills. Tonight at 10. Alone. Alone? But that's insane. You're not actually going through with that baloney, are you? I mean, this is the exact same gambit that Tanemura did, and he immediately betrayed him. Like, we've been over this. You can't be like, I got the one thing you really don't want to get out, and only I know about it. Ooh. And then be like, oh yeah, I'll meet you alone. Like, he's just gonna kill you and take what he wants, and then, you know, not ever plan on giving you what you wanted. So that doesn't work. That doesn't happen. I have to. That's part of the deal. Oh, bless your stupid heart, Kiryu. Sounds like I'll be fighting through the entire Ueno Saiwa clan to get up there, too. There's a difference when Kiryu does something stupid, because it's just him having an obnoxious code and you're used to it after all these games, but also, like, it's not out of character. It doesn't, like, contradict how clever he's supposed to be. Like, Kiryu never was... he doesn't have these plot elements like Akiyama does that demand he not be that character. He always has been, and it's part of the text. Like, for such a living legend, you're not a very good negotiator. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Kiryu just demands exactly what he needs and wants, which is always just the good thing, basically. And then if you don't give it to him, he's gonna go punching everybody next. And that's pretty much how it goes. As opposed to the mess some other characters can be when they try to go in completely different directions with that. But yeah, his plan is stupid. It's just his stupid is less stupid than Tanemura's stupid, because Tanemura should fucking know better than to meet the guy alone. When Kiryu, in some ways, I guess, does know better, he just does it anyway. And admittedly, he tends to win because he's overpowered, but yeah. Sounds like I'll be fighting through the entire Ueno Saiwa clan to get up there, too. Guy doesn't take any chances once he gets down to business, huh? You sure you want to go? I'm sure. There's no other way. You say that, but... let him go if he wants to. Besides, I don't think anything we say is gonna change his mind. Isn't that right, Kiryu-san? Right. A deal's a deal. I like how it's just canon that Kiryu is so cartoonishly overpowered that he can take over, he can just beat an entire Yakuza family himself. Like, we knew that, it keeps happening, but in this time, it's the plot to the point where the guy is like, yeah, you're gonna have to beat your way through my entire family before you get here, because I'm not gonna deal with you at your full power. Like, I'm not risking that idea. But still makes it even more of a farce, because it's like, yeah, but Kiryu, he can still just betray. He can just betray you. Kiryu. Well, I should probably get going. Be careful out there, Kiryu. I will. And am I going to now put the story on pause for like the next 7 hours? Awkwardly at the end? Because, I barely got to do any side quests, and we're in chapter 4 now. So now all of them are available at the same time, right? Kiryu, you're on your way to Kamurocho Hills? Yeah, in about 5 hours, maybe? Why am I not surprised that you know that? Ha! It's all part of the job. Anyway, I know you already know this, but you can get to Kamurocho Hills via the bathroom in West Park. Doubt you'll forget that anytime soon. Yeah, thanks, Florist. Wait. I thought he was gonna have insight of some kind about the plot, or or like leverage or something. He was just a tutorial. Kiryu already knows that. He can just think it to himself, like he just did there when I was waiting for a second. You know, what a weird call from the florist. It's just a genuinely strange phone call to receive. Okay, well that was a 5-minute cutscene over the course of an hour. I hope you loved it. That was a proper Zero Escape episode of Yakuza, which I think has never happened before. I think I'm now going to do Kiryu's sub-stories, because that's what we do. And I'm sorry that it's really awkward, because we just did most of his story and now it's time for the climax, but gotta get to these at some point. And people stop watching when the finale happens.